My name is Amara, and this is the story of how my world ended before it even began. I was just 8 years old when death visited my family. It was a Friday evening. I remember the smell of fresh rain on the red earth, the way the clouds covered the village sky like a funeral cloth. My parents had gone to the city for a wedding and were on their way back. I was sitting under the mango tree, waiting for their return, chewing dry chin-chin and watching the dusty road. Then the news came. People started shouting from the road. Mama Chinyere ran into our compound with her wrapper dragging behind her, screaming my name. "Amara! Amara! Come! Your parents! Blood is flowing!" My heart stopped. I followed the crowd, barefoot, over sharp stones and muddy paths, until I saw it. The car was crushed like a tin of sardines. My father's hand was hanging out the window. My mother's head was tilted like she was sleeping, but her eyes were wide open. They were gone, just like that. I didn't cry immediately. I was too shocked, too confused. I stood there in my oversized yellow dress, frozen, while adults wailed and screamed around me. I didn't understand why the earth didn't just open and swallow me whole. That night, I slept alone. No warm arms, no goodnight kiss. Just cold silence and my small body curled up on the bamboo mat like an abandoned kitten. From that night, suffering became my shadow. Before I continue my story, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like this video and share. So, after the burial, my uncles and aunties came together and shared my parents' property like it was meat at a party. But when it came to me, nobody wanted me. She's too small. I already have 5 children. I don't have money for another mouth. In the end, they gave me to my mother's old mother, my grandmother in the village. Her house was made of mud, with a leaking roof and a smoky kitchen. She was half blind and too old to farm, so I became the worker. I would wake before the cock crowed, fetch water from the stream, cut firewood, sweep the compound, and help in other people's farms for little food. Many nights I slept hungry. Sometimes all we had was gari soaked in dirty water and a pinch of salt. There were no toys, no birthday cakes, no school, only work and pain. One dry season afternoon, I was sent to fetch firewood deep in the bush. I didn't know I was being watched. 3 village boys I had seen before in the square, playing football and smoking weed, followed me. They surrounded me. "Come and play with us, small," one of them said, licking his lips. I tried to run, but one grabbed me by my wrapper. They laughed. One pushed me to the ground. Another held my hands. I screamed with everything inside me. I don't know where the strength came from, but I bit one of them hard and kicked until they lost grip. Just as one of them raised the stone to hit me, an old palm wine tapper came running through the trees, swinging his cutlass. The boys scattered like rats. I ran all the way home, tears and snot mixing on my face. I didn't tell Grandma. She wouldn't believe me. Nobody ever did. But from that day, I knew the world had no mercy for poor girls like me. Then, one morning, something happened that changed everything. I was pounding yam for our neighbor when I heard the sound of a car horn. A black Jeep, clean, shiny and tinted, stopped in front of our house. I froze. The whole village came out to look. Then she stepped out. a tall woman in a lace gown, with gold earrings and high heels that made noise on the ground like they were announcing power. It was Aunty Ifeoma, my mother's youngest sister. I had only seen her once when I was little. She hugged me tight and said, "Amara, my darling, you've suffered. I've come to take you away. You'll never suffer again." That was the first time in years someone said something kind to me. She bought me clothes from the village market, gave me meat to eat, and told me I would go to school in the city. I believed her. I had no idea I was being delivered into a different kind of hell. I was 18 when Aunty Ifeoma came for me. 10 years had passed since the night my parents died. 10 years of struggle, shame, hunger and survival. I had become a shadow, thin, hardened, always alert. I had stopped hoping. Until she came again, this time for real. "Amara," she said, touching my cheeks like she cared. "You're now a woman. Come to the city. Your mates are working, building a future. Let me change your life." I didn't hesitate. I packed my little bag, only 2 wrappers, a torn notebook, and my Bible, and entered her car. As we left the village behind, I looked out of the window, wondering what kind of life waited for me on the other side. The journey was long. I didn't speak much. She played loud music, made phone calls, and talked about how I was going to love Lagos. When we finally entered the city, I felt like I had entered another planet. Everywhere was noisy, fast, full of buildings taller than trees. Cars zoomed like they were chasing something. Nobody smiled. Everyone was in a hurry. We pulled into a compound with tall black gates and electric fence. Her house was like something from a film, big, fine, and smelling of air freshener. "This is your new home," she said, smiling. I should have known it was a lie. That first night, I noticed something strange. There were other girls in the house, 5 of them, all young, all beautiful, all dressed like they were going for a party, even though it was barely 7 p.m. They looked at me like I was an animal from the zoo. "This one a village girl," one whispered. Aunty Ifeoma laughed. "Don't worry, we'll brush her up. Very soon she'll shine past Una." They called me names. Bush girl, village rat, broomstick. But Aunty Ifeoma kept assuring me, "Ignore them. You'll be better than all of them soon." She bought me new clothes, gave me cream and perfume, but she didn't register me in school, I asked once. "School, Key? You think school will pay bills?" "My dear, life has changed." I was confused. Every evening, the girls dressed up in short, shiny clothes, high heels, heavy makeup, and wigs. They would spray perfume until the whole house choked with fragrance. Then, one by one, they entered big cars that came to pick them up. They came back in the morning, sometimes smiling, sometimes crying, but always with money. Plenty money. Aunty Ifeoma would collect it, count it, and give them part. One night, I asked one of the girls, "Riri, what was going on?" She just looked at me and said, "Soon you'll understand, but don't let the glamour deceive you. This life, it's sweet on the outside, bitter in the soul." Her eyes looked far away, like she was remembering something painful. One evening, Aunty Ifeoma knocked on my door. "You've stayed long enough," she said. "There's a man coming tonight. He's rich, clean. Just take care of him and you'll start making money. I've trained you for this." I was frozen. "Ma, I don't understand." She rolled her eyes. Don't play dumb. You think all the cream and clothes are free? I don't run charity. All the girls here work. Now it's your turn. I shook my head. I can't. I'm not like that. Please, Aunty. She stared at me for a long time, then smiled coldly. Okay, no problem. She left. I didn't sleep well that night. My heart beat like a drum. I knew I had offended her, but I didn't care. I'd rather go back to the village than lose my dignity. But I didn't know that her silence was not peace. It was the beginning of my nightmare. For the next few days, she acted normal, even nicer. She brought me food to my room, bought me a new dress, gave me juice to drink. You're my blood, she said sweetly. I will never harm you. I started to feel bad. Maybe I had judged her wrongly. Maybe she truly wanted the best for me. That's when it happened. The night she brought me that drink.
The night it happened, everything felt too quiet. I should have known. Aunty Ifeoma had cooked my favorite, white rice and pepper chicken. She said it was to celebrate my transformation. I was confused, but I didn't ask questions. I hadn't eaten well in days. I was too weak to argue. After dinner, she brought me a glass of juice. Chilled, sweet, orange. Drink it, my darling, she said, rubbing my shoulder. You've been tense. You need to rest your mind. I hesitated. I looked back and told my train from the slow. She smiled wider. Don't you trust me? That sentence hit me. I wanted to believe she meant well. She was family, after all. I took the glass and drank it. I didn't know I was drinking the beginning of my end. It started slowly. First, my vision blurred. Then my head grew heavy. The room spun like I was inside a moving bus. I stood up to ask for help, but my legs failed me. I crashed to the floor. I could hear her voice faintly in the background. Left double quotation mark, her first time. She giggled. Nah, her first time, she whispered. Quick, come in, do it fast, and get out. Another voice replied. Left double quotation mark, her first time. Nah, why you day pay double? Then silence. I tried to scream. Nothing came out. I tried to move. My body betrayed me. I was a prisoner in my own skin. Then I felt it. A man's weight, his rough hands, his breath on my face. I wanted to die. I came back to listen to the play. I loved the play by the maid, but death didn't come, only pain. When I woke up, I was naked. The sheets were stained. My thighs were sore. My head pounded. My lips were bleeding. For a moment, I thought I had dreamed it, until I saw my torn clothes on the floor. Aunty Ifeoma walked in, dressed in white like an angel, but her face was the devil's own. Good morning, baby, she said calmly. How are you feeling? I couldn't speak. I just stared at her, tears running down like a broken pipe. She dropped a bundle of money on the table. That's what your body is worth, she said. 50,000 naira. For a virgin. That man was very satisfied. I screamed. I screamed so hard I almost tore my throat. I threw the money at her, crawled to the corner and held myself like a wounded animal. You're mad. You're evil. She only laughed. You think life is a fairy tale. You think you can eat free food and wear fine clothes without giving something back. You belong to me, Amara. You're not leaving this house unless you leave in a coffin. After that night, I stopped eating. I stopped talking. I stopped living. I would sit in my room, rocking back and forth, whispering prayers that had no answers. She didn't stop. 3 days later, she sent another man. This time, I locked my door. She broke it down. You think you have choice, she shouted, dragging me by the hair. You think you can say no to me? Do you know how many girls want this opportunity? I fought. She slapped me, kicked me, tied my hands and locked me in the back room without food for 2 days. You'll learn the hard way, she hissed. The other girls started avoiding me. Some pitied me, some were afraid, but none could help. They were slaves too. Only one, Riri, dared to sneak me food one night. She knelt and whispered, "Just act like you're dead. That's the only way to survive in this house." But I wasn't dead. Something inside me was still alive. Something that refused to die. 2 months later, I began to vomit. My body felt heavy. My breasts were tender. My period didn't come. I knew even before I took the test. I was pregnant. I cried until my voice broke. I screamed at the mirror, at the walls, at the God who let this happen. When Aunty Ifeoma found out, she slapped the test strip from my hand and shouted, "Useless girl. So you went and got pregnant like a goat. Do you know who that man is? Do you want to destroy my connection?" I told her it was her fault. That was the final straw. That night, around 1 a.m., she dragged me out. No shoes, no bag, no money, only the pregnancy growing inside me and my tattered soul. She opened the gate and pushed me into the street. "Go and born your bastard there," she spat. Left, double quotation mark. "The house is for hustlers, not liabilities." The gates closed behind me. I stood in the cold, on a dark Lego street, 18, pregnant, violated, and homeless. People passed. Nobody looked. I sat on the pavement, hugging my knees. It started to rain, just like the night my parents died.